Welcome. I'm Jessica Kunz here with Joe Cephas, who is an Edinboro grad and Vice President for Public Affairs at Independent Electrical Contractors in Virginia. Thank you for being here today with me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I want to get right into it. You graduated from Edinboro in 2006, and then now you're working with Independent Electrical Contractors. Can you talk a little bit about how you landed there so young and started out, and now you're Vice President for Public Affairs?
Sure. When I left Edinboro, I immediately went into an internship at St. Vincent Hospital right in Erie. And the internship just taught me so much. It was within 3 weeks that it was pretty much, I was a full-time staff member. They were giving me my own projects, had me develop advertisements. I actually did all of the text for a billboard, things like that. So I had a full plate. And then after graduating and finishing my internship, I then moved back to Pittsburgh for a little while, where I originally was from, and then I said I wanted to go to a big city. So I was looking at either New York City or the Washington, D.C. area, because I have family members in both areas. And I was looking for a job mainly in Washington, D.C., just because New York seemed like they always wanted people with experience. Everything that you saw said 2 or 3 years to experience, and I kept asking myself, how do you get those 2 or 3 years of experience? So it seemed like Washington, D.C. had more opportunities for entry-level positions. So I kept applying, and I eventually got into an organization called the Voluntary Protection Programs Participants Association, and I was their communication outreach coordinator. And I did a lot of work there with their magazine and with a lot of marketing. And then the thing is, when you're in a trade association or if you're in a nonprofit association, it's usually smaller staffs and there's not as much room for growth. So I had somebody that was directly above me that I really couldn't get promoted, even though it was kind of my time to be promoted, and that I had put in the work that could bring me to that next level. So I started looking for a new job, and I came on to found a communications manager job, which was the next step of my progression at the Independent Electrical Contractors. And I was hired as a communications manager, worked there for about a year in that position, and then the director of marketing communications, who ran the communications department, ended up leaving. She had recently had a baby, and she was like, I want to be a full-time mom, so she ended up leaving the association. And I had done a few projects where it was just completely me while she was on maternity leave. So I was pretty much running the association for a good 2 months. And during that time, I was taking care of all the communications. I had built that trust, so they promoted me to Director of Marketing Communications, and then I continued to build new projects and introduce the association to new things, as far as introducing us to social media, got us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. I changed the way we wrote our magazine and changed the overall design of it. So then it came time that I was ready then for that next step a lot faster than other people might have thought, because I had so much experience and had some successes with some of the projects I had introduced. So the next step was for Vice President of Public Affairs, and that's going to let me use a lot more of my media skills in the public affairs arena. So that's why I kind of had a shift in title, but I was still head of the communications department. So that's kind of my journey.
That's a great story, and it all seems to have progressed rather quickly, but I know you said you were waiting. You had a waiting period between the time you left here and you were in Pittsburgh. And was that difficult while you were trying to find the next thing?
That was extremely difficult, especially with me having so much responsibility at St. Vincent, and then to go back to kind of not being able to find a job immediately. That was very frustrating. And I actually was offered just a sales position at some company, like I had interviewed for, because I was getting kind of desperate. But then it's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't my passion was in communications. My passion was in public relations. And I said, I'm not settling. I'm waiting until I get the job that I really want. And that opportunity ended up coming along. It was about 6 months that I was waiting. But I'm really happy that I decided to be patient and wait on the job that fit my skills and my passion. Because if I would have taken that sales job, I may not be here today. I might have went down a completely different career path.
Absolutely. Now, during your time here at Edinboro, did you picture yourself doing what you're doing today and taking the path that you have taken?
Honestly, yes, I did. You know, because I'm one of those people that's kind of connected to my phone. I'm always emailing and things like that. I work kind of longer hours. I'm always on the go. I'm one of those people that walk really fast in the office, and I wear suits like Don Draper on Mad Men. Like, I did kind of picture this life for me because whenever I took courses at Edinboro, public relations and things like that, and dealing with crises and things like that, I said, this is what I want to do. And I knew the fast-paced world of public relations, and I could see myself doing it. And I did not picture that it would be this quickly, but I was following your passion, and when you really love what you do quality work. And I'm one of the lucky ones that quality work has been recognized. I do consider myself lucky to be in this position.
When you came to Edinboro, did you know what you wanted to do?
Absolutely not. Actually, I started out in business administration, then went to elementary education, and then went to communications. I went to elementary education for a little bit because I had worked in the daycare in the summers and things like that, and I'd run summer camps for basketball and things like that. And it was, and I thought I wanted to teach children, but then taking the courses, I was like, this isn't for me, you know. And so I had taken a few gen ed communications courses, and also my English courses, like college writing skills, things like that. I really enjoyed the writing, but I didn't want to be just a straight writer. So the communication seemed like a natural fit. And I had spoken to my basketball coaches about making the switch. And then I actually had met with Dr. Parinel, who's the head of the department. And he said, I told him kind of my career path and kind of what I was thinking, you know, with the different where I wanted to be in about 5-10 years, and he said communications is for you. And I mean, my grades immediately showed it as soon as I made the switch, because I mean, I had decent grades in my gen ed courses and when I was in the other majors, but when I got in comm, I mean, my GPA jumped up to like 3.7s, 3.8s. I mean, you could tell that it's what I loved.
And it paid off.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned basketball, and I know that you played while you were here. You were
Yes.
a fighting Scot, and we hear a lot of times about, you know, people who have moved into careers that they love, and they have a history in sports, and that experience in sports has helped them. Do you find that that's the case with you? Did playing basketball and playing here help you later in life?
Absolutely. There's so many things that it taught me. I could speak about this for hours, but just a few examples is accountability. Because when you're on a team, granted, while you're all working together, each person has to know their job and do it well in order for the team to succeed. And let's say just in basketball, if you have a great rebounder and then that game they only have one rebound, that's going to hurt the team, and you got to hold that person accountable. So it taught me that you have to be accountable for what you're responsible to do. And then also working with teams, because each team, you work with, like I said, the various positions and things like that. I was one of those versatile people that I could kind of play the small forward position, power forward position, or the shooting guard. I could kind of watch all positions on defense. So being versatile like that helped the team to continue to grow. And I bring that to my current organization, where I kind of see myself as a Swiss Army knife a little bit, where I could fill into a few holes. I actually ran our IT for about 6 months, and I ran our government affairs program for a year during while we were going through a few transitions, and we did some downsizing where I was working in other departments, and it was pretty much just, this is what the association needs right now. And that goes right back to something I learned when I was under Greg Walkovich. My junior year, he taught me, he told me, pulled me into his office, and he said, hey, we need you to come off the bench and be a defensive stopper, and that needs to be your role. And I knew that was sacrificing, hey, I'm not going to score as much as I thought I would. You know, that's a tough job. You're not going to show up in the stat sheet. And I accepted it. I was like, this is what you think I need to do. I'll do this role if you think this is where I'm best used. And that's what we do now. I see kind of what my role should be, and a lot more of it is defining my own role. But wherever the team needs me, wherever IEC needs me, that's where I'm willing to participate.
Absolutely. Do you still find time to play?
Yes. I play in multiple leagues down in D.C. The competition is excellent. So I actually played with a few people that I played with actually in the PSAC. Like I have a player that I played against that he played for Mansfield, and during my time here at Edinboro, we go to different courts and we play all the time. Yes.
Oh, wow. Good
Helps
to
me
hear.
keep in shape.
Yeah. Now, Are there any disadvantages to being a young professional? Is it difficult to kind of enter this world of people, you know, hustling and bustling and be the youngest one there?
Yes, yes. The thing is, some of the other vice presidents and part of our senior leadership team, which all the vice presidents are in our association, some of them have kids my age. And that is somewhat difficult, but I kind of kicked in the door, and the thing that I did at my old association was I always wanted to be liked. And then when I moved to IEC, I didn't worry about that anymore. I said, you know, you are going to ruffle some feathers. So I didn't mind getting angry sometimes and showing my emotion. And it helped gain a lot of respect that I spoke up all the time and that I didn't hide my feelings or hide my emotions. If I felt strongly about something, I said it. And no matter what the consequences were, whether it was somebody may not like me or somebody may be mad at me for a week, doesn't matter. You're going to know how I feel. And that's definitely helped me earn some respect. And I think that all my coworkers do respect me now. Some of them may not like me, and that's okay. That's okay. As long as they respect me, it was difficult, but I managed it pretty well.
What are some advantages of being a young professional, you know, getting out of college in this time when we're so connected on social media? Does that play a part in being a young professional?
Absolutely. I say a lot of times that we get more information in a week than people 30 years ago got in a matter of a year. I mean, just you scroll through your Twitter account and you see so many different information and news outlets, and you just get so much information like that. And I think that plays a huge role in our connectivity and the way that we can continue to grow as communications professionals. I think we're at a major advantage. I do think there are some disadvantages to it as far as writing skills and things like that that may play a part, but I think we are the most informed generation. And the thing is that the baby boomers are retiring, and the millennials are here to stay. The millennials are actually more populous than the baby boomers. A lot of people don't realize that. So we're the ones that are coming for the management positions, and I think that we're ready.
So leading into that, we're the ones coming for the management positions. What advice do you have for young people who are graduating and they either don't know what they want to do or they know what they want to do and don't really know how to go about it? What advice can you give to them?
One main thing is stay patient. You know, it's going to be hard, especially now in the communications field, which I'm in. There are more jobs, especially in my area where I live in Washington, D.C. area. There are a lot more jobs than maybe in other areas, especially in the communications field. But there are, in some areas like Erie, there may not be as many opportunities, but I will say remain patient like I did, because it is easy to just accept a job that may not be your love. And if you do that, you could go down the wrong career path that might not be right for you, where you're just punching a clock and not actually loving what you're doing. And then for the people that don't know what they want to do yet, I will say try a few different things and find your passion, because that's the thing, and I think that's kind of what helped my career, is that I'm truly passionate about my craft and I take it very seriously. I'm the last line of defense as far as anything that comes out to the public from IEC. I'm the last one that edits everything and puts a stamp of approval on it. And this is something that I take very, very seriously. And that's part of my passion for it. So the love for it, it's, if I didn't love it, I don't know if I'd be in this position, you know. So, I mean, if you don't know what you're going to do yet, I will say continue to look for it and find that passion.
It's about finding that passion.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, well, thank you so much for being here. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a true pleasure being back at Edinboro.
No problem. We love having you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.